Dad walks into his 14-year-old son's room, sees what's going on, panics, and now they have no idea to handle this situation. It's a good one right here. Parents helping parents out here, because a lot of parents aren't equipped for this. Bert Show. And if you have something going on in your life you want to share it with us, hit us up at thebertshow.com. Bert Show, I need your help, and I need it fast.
You know why we're not equipped for this? Because there's no friggin' manual.
Yeah, there really isn't, man. Just when you think that you're like a good parent, I question everything. My husband and I are in a panic, and we are not equipped for this. My husband walked into our 14-year-old son's room and caught him closing out all the windows on his computer. I think some of you guys know where this is going already. When my husband pushed him on it, our son confessed to being on Pornhub. My husband was utterly shocked. Our son is an honor student. He's engaged in about 19 different sports and excels in all of them. We've never had a problem with it, not to this extent anyway. One of the first things my husband asked him was how long he's been watching porn. My son said since he was 12. He is 14 now, 2 years. She says, I feel like the worst parent ever. How could we not know this? Question mark, question mark, question mark. That's what she says, not what I'm saying. He says he'll go days without being on it. Then he'll be on it for weeks. Then maybe nothing for months. Then he gets back into the habit. He said to us that about 80% of his friends have the same habit. 80% of his friends. WTF do I do? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Help. We were so naive. Yeah, we're going to need your guys' help on this one. 1-855-BERT-SHOW.
And not just parents, but I think like if there are any child psychologists or therapists listening, they could really pitch in and help out here.
Yeah, this one's above my pay grade here. I do know this, that I think that if this happened in our case, there are some people that will knee-jerk to like, bad, 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 bad. Shame, shame, shame. And I think you really have to step back from that. Look, God, when you think about it, when you guys think about it, you know, when I was younger, and I think maybe it applies to you too, Mo, even though you're younger than I am. Look, the access to porn when I was young, there was always curiosity. It was almost impossible to get your hands on a magazine or something like that. Mm-hmm. You had to reach into your creepy uncle's collection or something like that. Or you had Cinemax, or I remember back...
Oh, Skinamax.
Skinamax, right?
Yep.
Or, you know, back in the day when we first got HBO, and it had a little dial changer. If I knew late at night that if I went between channels 19 and 20 after like midnight, I could definitely catch a boob in there, right?
Mm-hmm. It's clear, it's clear.
It's clear, right? That's the funny part of it. But nowadays, when you think of the fight that boys and girls must have now with porn, it is so easily accessible.
Yeah.
24/7. Anywhere. You're talking about your computers. You're talking about phone. I don't know if you guys know this. You can watch porn if you're a kid on your Xbox. It's available anywhere. So that kind of temptation to a 14-year-old, 15-year-old, 16-year-old, 12-year-old is something that some of my age has never experienced. Kaylee?
Yeah, so I kind of have some experience with this. When I was younger, my mom was good friends with a chiropractor, and sometimes she would take me. And one time, I guess I was probably 11 or 12, I went there to get adjusted, and I don't know why I was talking about Playboy magazines. And after he adjusted me, he reached into his desk and gave me one right in front of my mom. What? And my mom was like, she didn't care.
It was back in the day.
Yeah. Now, I think that everything was on VHS back then. I mean, not easily accessible, but it's not really that big of a deal. It wasn't until I got in trouble for selling magazines to younger kids at school, and then it became an issue.
Why am I not shocked at that turn in the story?
He's going to the chiropractor like every other week.
When you know, I think mostly when kids were caught back in the day, when you had like a Playboy or whatever, your parents weren't thinking you could be addicted to porn. They were thinking that you were curious, because you also didn't have the access that you have now. Now it's a real problem. You're getting yourself, this kid has got himself into a habit every single day. Very different situation now.
Yeah, I got caught going through my dad's collection when I was about this age, and I remember around 12 was around the time like all of the kids were talking about it, and we were all curious. So I mean, I really think it's more common than people know. But like you mentioned, it's a new time to where you have such access to it. But I think it's important to have an open line of communication with them for sure.
80% of his friends, he says. 80%.
That doesn't shock me.
All right, so parents helping out parents here, man. I think we have all had this fear. Sabrina wants to be on the voice disguiser. Hey, Sabrina.
Hi, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
morning.
Thanks for helping out today.
Oh, no worries. So my advice is, as a parent, yes, we don't have manuals. We're never prepared for it. Expect the worst. There's all types of porno out there that I feel are for children, like they're encouraging children. There's cartoon characters. There's animated porno. There's Fortnite porno. Like, there's no stopping it. So you have to just prepare yourself that one day, yeah, you're going to bust into your kid's room, and you're going to look at the laptop, and you're going to see conversations you're not prepared for. You're going to see videos. You just have to have an open discussion and an open door policy with your kids at the end of the day so they can trust you.
This open door policy you're talking about, though, I don't know a lot of kids that would go to their parents and say, look, I think this is problematic here. I'm watching porn every day. There are very few kids that would do that. They're shamed. They're going to be really, really nervous to approach their parents for fear of punishment too.
And embarrassment.
And you know what? Quite honestly, most parents that I know that think that they have an open door policy with their kids, or they have 100% honesty with their kids, that's naive. Really naive. And I can say I've been caught in that situation also, thinking my relationship was different with my kid, and there was stuff going on that I was wrong about. Yeah.
And I'd say take like all the electronics away, but the thing now is kids need to be technologically savvy, and they need their computers for school and stuff. So they have, I just don't know how you restrict access to that.
Well, I mean, there are, if you do an internet search here, I mean, there are a million different tools that you can use to take a look at your kid and what they're doing online and what they're doing on their phone. But when I've read about stuff like this, it's like, if your kid wants to watch porn, they are going to figure out a way to watch porn. There's so much access to it that just trying to stop it from the digitally, that's just a Band-Aid.
Now, if 80% of the other kids are doing it, according to him, like, do you ask him, like, how did you find this? Who taught you this? And if he tells you another kid taught him this, do you tell that kid's parents?
I would not.
I don't think I would either.
No, you just focus on what's going on in your home.
I would.
Yep. And I think they all share these stories, man. Tommy?
And if he says 80% are doing it, the other 20% are lying.
Maybe.
Because when I was 15 years old, I was on a travel softball team, and our coach, we had a get-together with my team where he showed us. I remember the name of the movie, Hot Tub USA. It was a whole softball team watching.
It's just such a different time,
But
man.
the softball team, the coach was my best friend's brother-in-law.
Oh, that makes it okay.
No, it doesn't.
It's all in the family, so it's
That
all
explains it.
good. Amy, good morning. You were on the Bert Show.
Good morning.
Morning.
I don't know how parents are not prepared for this. We know as kids what we did. We know what our parents did. We should be having open communications from day one, and that starts at, like, potty training. We should make sure they know proper terminologies. We should make sure that they know that they can come to us with absolutely any question whatsoever. I have a 14-year-old son, I have a 16-year-old daughter, and a 12-year-old daughter, and let me tell you something. I make inappropriate comments all the time. I make sure that they know that mom is a cool person, that is approachable, no matter what my belief system is, no matter what anybody else's belief system is. They know that they can come to me with the most tedious of details, and I'm going to be open and honest with them. They're not going to get that information from the kids at school. They're going to get it straight from me, and that's the best way to parent, because my kids have never been caught in a vulnerable situation. Now, with that being said, have I caught my son watching porn? It's not a matter of catching. It's a matter of respecting his privacy, knowing that he's doing it, and making sure that he knows the laws and boundaries with it. hey, you don't redistribute this because then you can be charged for distributing child pornography, things of that nature. And that's not a slope that you want to go down. So keep it private, keep it to yourself. It's not something that you need to openly discuss with your sisters, but it is something that you need to be aware of.
All right, so just a bunch of different ideas. It's a little unfair to ask for help on something like that in this kind of format, because this is something we could talk about for 4 straight hours and get advice. And nobody in here is equipped for it.
No, and the phone lines are lit up.
Yeah, so I think what we got to do is probably get a professional and do an extra segment on this one day and answer all of your questions. But to do it in this kind of format, impossible, right? We're just not equipped for it.
Touche.
The Bert Show.
Hey, do you like what you just watched? Because you can get more Bert Show for free. We drop new podcasts every weekday, and you can find us anywhere. Spotify, Apple, any place you get podcasts.